This is Climate Action in Japan by Ashlyn Stoker, and this is for the SDG 2. So, what is the climate crisis? So, billions of tons of CO2 are released into the atmosphere every year as a result of coal, oil, and gas production. Human activity is producing greenhouse gas emissions at a record high, with no signs of slowing down. According to a 10-year summary of UNEP emissions gap reports, we are on track to maintain business as usual trajectory. The last 4 years were the 4 hottest on record. According to a September 2019 World Meteorological Organization (WMO) report, we are at least 1 degree Celsius above the pre-industrial levels and close to what scientists warn could be an unacceptable risk. Glaciers and ice sheets in polar and mountain regions are already melting faster than ever, causing sea levels to rise. Almost 2/3 of the world's cities' populations of over 5 million are located in areas of risk of sea level rise, and almost 40% of the world's population live within 100 kilometers of a coastline. So, contribution. Japan is the world's largest public financer of fossil fuel projects, providing 10.6 billion US dollars per year between 2019 and 2021. Japan has been leading the drive to expand gas consumption in Asia and is the world's leading financer of gas infrastructure globally, spending 6.7 billion US dollars on gas projects on average each year between 2019 and 2021. Despite a G7 comment to end internationally public finance for fossil fuels by the end of 2022, the Japanese government has stated it will continue financing upstream oil and gas developments, fossil fuel projects that are inconsistent with the 1.5 Celsius limit under the Paris Agreement. Additionally, the briefing finds that the Japanese government is leaning heavily on false solutions to mitigate its gas expansion, including hydrogen, ammonia co-firing, and carbon capture and storage (CCS), which Prime Minister Fumio Kishida admitted as decarbonizing while still using fossil fuels. And this is a graph showing the top 15 G20 country providers of international public finance of fossil fuels annual average 2019 to 2021 in US dollars in billions. So as you can see, Japan is leading. The effects of climate change or climate crisis in Japan. So the climate crisis doesn't just cause flooding around Japan's coast. The mainland, as recent events have demonstrated, is also at increased risk. In July of 2018, a devastating downpour in western Japan forced 2 million people to evacuate their homes. This deluge flooding hundreds of thousands of homes and tragically claimed over 200 lives. In the aftermath of the event, experts agreed that the intensity of this storm was fueled by our changing climate. The downpour is just one example of the climate phenomenon spreading throughout Japan. As temperatures increase, water evaporates more rapidly. This in turn makes rainfall less frequently, but harder when it does. Given that Japan's average temperature is rising faster than the global average, this process is expected to continue escalating, that is, unless we slash global greenhouse gas emissions. So, how can technology help with the climate crisis? So, this is technology aiding climate change. First is renewable energy like wind, solar, hydropower. So, climate technologies that help us reduce greenhouse gas emissions would include renewable energies such as wind power, solar power, and hydropower. To adapt these adverse effects of climate change, we use climate technologies such as drought resistant crops and early warning systems, plus seawalls. The second one is abatement intelligence. So, abatement planning is a challenge primarily due to the lack of accurate measures for determining the emissions derived from certain processes. So, AIoT technology tackles this challenge by creating insights for real time data to better predict process emissions. By analyzing and learning through data from multiple processes, AIoT can refine the performance evaluation and abatement measures and optimize emissions predictions. Beyond optimizing abatement strategies, this technology also lowers the overall marginal abatement costs. The third one is with the myriad of databases and systems involving the different carbon producing assets, the labor required to simply categorize and organize the data from multiple businesses, units, and assets is immense. AIoT integration enables seamless sourcing of real time activity level data and asset inventory data from a variety of systems. This provides an organization with the capability to efficiently structure, collect, and transform data into reports for accurate emissions monitoring and measurement, reducing the overall efforts around data collection, enhancing quality, and report resolution. The last one is innovations being used to reduce CO2 emissions include carbon capture, utilization, and storage technologies. So, with the Net Zero Pesticide Project being an interesting example.